Hi everyone, this is Action Figure Talk Then and Now. I hope you're all doing good. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna make some changes to my YouTube channel, and I'll just say I'm just not having as much fun as I should. I love talking about action figures and everything, but I want to talk about some other stuff too, along with the action figures, and mainly like memories and all that kind of thing. Because lately I've been cleaning my room and realizing I have way too much stuff and not enough room, a lot of stuff in the packaging, which I always keep saying, oh, I'm going to open this at some point. I'm going to open this at some point. 2-3 years later, I still have stuff in the packaging. So, while I've been going through everything, I started thinking about how I was as a kid with my action figures versus as an adult with my action figures, about how collecting has changed and how I've changed, and I thought this might be, I don't know, a fun kind of discussion to have. Maybe some of you might want to comment on maybe some of your thoughts about this. All right, so to get to it, when you're a kid, it's like you want to get these action figures for your adventure. Your first thought is, for an example, I want to have Han Solo and Luke Skywalker to rescue Princess Leia, but I don't have a Princess Leia. So you have that quest to find Princess Leia. And then you find her and you're all excited and you start playing with her and Han and Luke and everybody, and then you can have that adventure. Well, now as an adult, it's like, I want to get that figure, but I want that figure flawless. I want that figure in the package. I wanted to put her up on the wall and stare at her forever in her plastic prison. This is not fun after a while, I keep looking at a lot of my figures that are on display, and it's like, okay, I've run out of space, and it's just not fun. I keep thinking, I spent all this money on these figures, but I don't really enjoy them. I remember when I was a kid, my biggest quest to find an action figure was the Phantasm from Batman Mask of the Phantasm. A lot of you ever have a hard time finding her? Because I'll tell you, that one was a pain. That took months to find, and I never saw her again after I got her. See, when I was a kid, I used to call Toys R Us, KB Toys, and Hills every Sunday, and my mom had their numbers written on a piece of paper, and I would always call them, and I called 3 different Toys R Us's, if I remember correctly, and 2 different Hills. And I was always asking, and then it got to a point, some of them recognized my voice, and no, sorry, still don't have her. Where was I? Hate Old Age. Now I forgot where. Oh yeah, okay. So, with getting the Phantasm. So, I remember it was on a Sunday, and I already scoped out the action figure aisle, and she wasn't there. Then we're in line, and there was a lot of, the person ahead of us, I remember, had a lot of stuff, and I was getting antsy being in line, because then I told my mom and dad, okay, I'm going to go back and look at the toys. And that times were different back then. You could be a little kid and just wander like that. It's not like it is today. So I went back in the action figure aisle, and all of a sudden, like, my eyes lit up. It was like, oh, the Phantasm. And I hurried up, and there were 2 of her, and I snatched the first one I saw, and then I ran to the checkout line like the $6 million man. Like, and I showed my mom and dad her, and then they bought her for me. But, years later, now I think about that, and it's like, I didn't compare them. I didn't look at which one had the better paint job, because she has a defect on her wrist. There's like, from, I guess, maybe some paint or something was chipped off on her. Like, it's in the plastic, though. It's not like something ripped part of it. But I don't care. When I was a kid, you don't care about that stuff. You're like happy you have the figure. I don't remember ever being finicky over a defect. And there's a lot of figures I have that have defects, but I was never finicky. I was an adult. It's like, oh, well, you want to compare each one, pick out the best one, which I'm not saying there's anything bad about it, but it's like, being so finicky takes away the fun, is how I'm starting to feel. It must be with old age, I guess. It's just taking out the fun of it. And some figures, yeah, you want to compare. Like, if you collect Hot Toys, I remember I was at a convention and this one guy was saying, about keeping them all in the packaging. But then I'm like, but do you ever check them to make sure they're not missing parts or nothing's broken? Because that's happened a few times when I've gotten some figures. Like my RoboCop, the rubber in the back of the leg, was it the left leg? It was bunched up, so I had to get in touch with Sideshow, and then they replaced that because in time that's gonna tear it. Oh, and the worst I think I've ever had anything break was Alita Battle Angel. My heart is still broken over this one. I got her, I opened her, and I raised the arm up, and the whole thing snapped off. And it was the last one that Sideshow had. It was when they find them and then they put it up and it's limited time only, and I got one. Oh, and it still bothers me because I sent her back because I paid too much money to keep a broken figure. Luckily, they got that warranty. I'm hoping so much though that they do a sequel to Alita Battle Angel and they bring back that figure and hopefully it's improved. But that still breaks my heart that figure broke. Like I still would like to get one, but I don't want to pay collector prices on her. But you want to check out those figures, or example, like if you have like the Batman figures and the Darth Vader figures and the pleather, the rubber, you got to put that 303 on it because you got to treat those materials, because if you don't, they're going to break down. Due humidity and all that, but also, the good thing too is it shines them up and it refreshes them and makes them look more brand new again. So I don't mind doing it. I mean, it's a pain taking the figures apart, but you don't want to just say like you buy an 89 Batman hot toy, but you're leaving it in the box. You're never going to open it. Well, then what's the point in buying it? You're never going to look at it and there could be something wrong. Or what if the body's broken on the inside? I remember there were a few people having those issues with Batman Begins Toy Fair exclusive one. I remember people had those issues. But it's like, anyway, I was talking to this one guy about that, and he didn't really seem to think much of it. I would. If I'm going to spend that kind of money on it, I'm going to open it and make sure it works because, they're an investment. They're more of an art piece, so they're not really toys. I'm still trying to pinpoint at what point in my life did I just want to leave everything in the box, and hang it on the wall and stare at it. Because I don't think we're ever really too old for this stuff. I mean, if you're around our ages, like kids today, they don't seem to really get as into action figures. And that's a sad thing. I'll go in the action figure aisle, and usually it's like the dad looking at the action figures, and the kids like playing on their tablet or the phone or something. It's like, that's so boring. Remember when I was a kid, I was in my glory. My mom and dad, when they would take me to the toy aisles, they'd go with me in the aisles, and we'd look at the different action figures and all that fun. But it's not like that nowadays. And then also, nowadays, you can just order it online. You don't have to drive from store to store, or let me rephrase it, when your kid have your mom and dad drive you from store to store to store. That thrill of the hunt is just not there anymore. Go to so many different Toys R Us's and Hills and Walmarts and KB's, but it was like it was just a fun family experience because we'd have a nice dinner or lunch or breakfast and spending time together. And then I'm guessing the joy of my parents seeing the excitement on my face when I found that figure, and also probably the joy of, good, now we don't have to hear about it anymore. Times have changed. I mean, I like being able to get the stuff on the internet because now nothing's hard to get. It's not like you don't have to resort to going to a collector shop and paying 2 to 3 times the price for a figure. Those, I don't even know, a lot of people still do that. I won't. I hate paying scalper prices. But it's just, I think too, maybe even the fact that we don't have toy stores anymore. But I do. I just miss that feeling of collecting as a kid versus as an adult, because it's not like I'm gonna quit collecting action figures. I still love action figures. They're my escape in life. But it's just so strange how times have changed. It really is. I mean, there's always something you want, but now it's just at a push of a button. All you gotta do is just go on your phone. You can find a lot of this stuff, and it's like nothing. It's like boom, you found what you're looking for. But yeah, the main thing I just want to talk about is just sharing some toy memories and just the feeling of collecting as a kid versus an adult. The kid, like I said, it's about the adventure. The adult, it's about the money, the value, and it's no longer my toy action figure, it's my collectible. That's why, like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm just gonna start opening a lot of it, and do some toy photography and stuff like that. Make changes to my channel, but for the good, because I feel like it's time I just start acting more like myself and just having a little bit more fun. Like the video I did over the weekend of my cat Sandy playing with her Tribble. All right, backstory here. I got the Tribble a couple months ago. I don't know if a lot of you remember when Big Bad Toy Store had them on sale, and I bought 4 of them. Since they're not made anymore, and if something were to ever happen to one of them, then the cats have another one, because I got a bunch of cats. And Sandy, though, she's my main cat that's always in my videos, the one you see all the time. And then my other cat, Vincent, he never likes to be in the videos. And then my dad has cats. But, anyway, so I bought a bunch of the Tribbles. I figured then all the cats can play with them. Well, I only opened the one, hold on to the other 3 for backups, and it got lost. Within a day, the thing got lost. And I literally just found it a couple hours before I made that video. And Sandy was all excited, and I'm sitting in my chair and watching TV, and she started playing with it. So I hurried up and grabbed my camera and filmed her, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to make this into a little YouTube video, because she was just having so much fun. That was her legit responses to being happy seeing it, because she hasn't seen that in a couple months. And she only had it for about a day, probably not even a whole day, because it fell in the back corner of my bed, and it blended in, and I never knew it was there. It was on the floor, but it was next to the leg, so I never even saw it. And then while I was cleaning and rearranging stuff, I found it, so I made that video. And I had fun doing that. I never did anything like that before. That was me experimenting with all that different stuff and just having fun. Yeah, and it was funny, too. She was actually watching herself when I had it on and I was watching it, and she's literally sitting on the bed watching it, so that was really fun. Yeah, but that's really it. I just wanted to talk about some of that stuff, and just to leave you all know, it's like I'm still gonna keep doing videos. I'm gonna be doing more videos lately though, because I've got some good ideas I'm actually gonna try and see what happens. I don't want to go off into every little detail on what I have in mind, because I'm going to make separate videos for those. But right now, it was just mainly just an update and talking about being a kid versus an adult with collecting your action figures. Maybe some of you might have some cool stories you want to put in the comments. What toy, action figure, what were you after in particular? And then that excitement when you finally found it. And if you have any fun stories about that, put them in the comments. I'd love to read them. I'm sure other people would love to read them, because I'm going to start doing these kind of talks more often now, because I think I'm actually having fun doing this. And I know I ramble a lot, but it's the way I am. Okay, I think that's really it. I can't think of anything else. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. You have a good one. Goodbye.